Mark, we should be respectful of the person who's editing this and not cuss, okay?
You could go yourself.
Yeah, be
You
kind,
can
dude.
walk
You should
right
know
off with
better
that.
than anybody else.
No. This is my opportunity to be a dirtbag.
Oh my god.
I think it's time for us to start our show. Now, normally, Mark does all the coming here. Just kidding. Normally, we
I was waiting for it. I was like, come on.
normally we would each pick a separate topic and go on. But similar to our last episode where we ended the year with a bang talking about our tops of the years, we're
Not
going
a
to
whipper.
start our year with a prediction show. Now, this prediction show is going to have us each come up with 5 predictions. They cannot be the same, and we will
At
go
least.
in round robin. So we'll do one prediction, round robin, second prediction, round robin, which means if your prediction is taken, you have to come up with another one. And there are stakes. Each of us will put out there our media of choice. And I say media because not everyone plays as much games as we do, but they must pick one thing that the other 2 people who do not earn enough points, meaning not get right, have to consume by the end of this year. So I'm saying we have a cutoff date before our last episode to round up all of the actual information and then start the process of consuming that thing. And we come back at the beginning of next year with our thoughts on the thing. How's that sound?
Okay.
Good.
Do we want to start with our predictions, or want we to lead off with what we would like everyone to consume?
What? I'm sorry. My head
The
went to
thing
a
you
very
want
different
other people
headspace.
to play or read or watch or whatever.
Just like, when I tell you what to fucking eat. That's what went through my head. I'm so fucking stupid right now.
Okay. I'm going to say we should lead out with like the stakes. So what you want the other person to take on. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Before we start our predictions, that way you're aware of your predictions, the weight of it all. Have either of you thought of this? I feel like you guys haven't thought about this at all.
I'm
You
going
thought
to
about
send
the
you to the
predictions?
Federal Reserve.
No.
Not the other part. Okay, well then if that's the case, we'll start with predictions and we'll start round 1. Who would like to go first? Because I'm open. I don't really care if you go first, I go first. I can always go first.
I'll go first.
All righty.
Just
Hit us
because I
up.
know this, you've already got this on your list, and I don't
Prediction
need you
number
knocking
1.
on mine. Rise of Zero
John
Dawn
Pettit.
Forbidden West gets a release date of October 2021. But wait, and that gets delayed.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. Ooh.
Yeah.
I could feel
Anybody
that.
else feel it? Because I do. I'm just
All
saying.
right. See, I was going to put out one super easy of God of War being punted to 2022, but that was too easy, so I couldn't go that far.
See, well, that's the thing, and I was debating on that too. Actually, I even did the reverse. I was almost like, what if it comes out to be like an April release? That could fit in that margin. It could still be basically touted in February and released in April. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Mark, would you like to go next?
Sure.
We're establishing an order now.
Are we? Okay.
Mark's gonna masturbate
So
400 times this year. No, I'm sorry. Was that not it?
Those are rookie numbers.
It was
You
a
gotta
bad
pump
prediction.
those
numbers.
numbers
Yeah,
up.
pop those up. Come on. No. So from the tech side of things, I think AMD is going to sweep the throne out from underneath Intel this year. Intel's got the new Rocket Lake S processors that come out. AMD just dropped their 5000 series and are killing it. And the prediction so far, some of the news that comes out, I guess, from some of the prelim leaks, is that Rocket Lake S, their 11th gen CPUs, are still going to be terrible.
Still terrible.
And I think that AMD is actually going to take the throne in marketplace this year, market share this year.
Okay.
Just
Makes sense.
wow. Okay, so you're not saying like they're gonna grow. You say they're gonna beat them.
I think they're going to swing. I think they're going to swing favor enough that the PC market's going to switch.
Okay, interesting.
Like a redhead.
They've already compelled laptop builders enough with the 4000 series CPUs because they were so much more power efficient. The only exception, of course, being Apple, but it's really been kind of a nightmare right now for Intel because they can't get their tech manufacturing straight to get anything less than 10 nanometer out the door. Supposedly, Rocket Lake S is also going to be 10 nanometer. So, like, power efficiency is just in AMD's favor, and AMD is reworking architecture starting with the 5000 series, moving to the 6000 as well, they're just going to get better. And I think they're going to sweep the throne this year.
Well, they seem to be making a lot of right moves. So
for the first time in over a decade.
I know when I saw AMD, I was like, what is this junk? You know, what is this trash? Who would feed this to their husband? A
2009, you wouldn't have said that.
You would feed a dog's asshole, an overcooked dog's asshole to your husband.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's true.
What happens when you can't get the heat out? You know, you just overcook it.
You overcook the roast.
Yeah.
Was it because I overcooked the roast? Anyways, I need to stop. My number one prediction, starting off, I think I'm going to start with some movie talk. And I'm going to say that Disney will 100% release Black Widow this year. But Eternals, nor any other Marvel movie, is not going to release in 2021. Therefore, leaving the MCU to be carried by the television series. So Black Widow, nothing else.
I find that that's a weird way to go about that, but yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
I mean, aren't we in was this phase?
Why
4
they had Disney Plus is going to be running hot? Why not take advantage of it?
I mean, they literally
released Mulan, made money.
Yeah, but they had the opportunity to drop Black Widow for 7 months last year and never did once.
Yeah,
true. Okay.
And Eternals, as far as I understand it, is close to done. I just think they're waiting to get that movie theater money. I think they'll push Black Widow as much as they can, and then they're going to lose that, return on your investment. You're just going to have to drop it, like they did with Mulan. Charge $30 for the suckers at home, and
how did they lose their investment with Mulan though? I mean, they could easily just released it later,
So from my understanding, the finances of movie making has everything to do with the fact that as you can hold a movie as long as you want theoretically and make that money back. But you borrow money to make that movie happen. So you have to, at some point in time, pay that money back. Now, Disney's a multi-billion-dollar company. They have all the money in the world. However, their divisions still try to balance out with how much money they spend per investment and how much money they make back on it. So if they can't make the money back on it, they inevitably have to.
Well, they were probably having huge issues with other parts of their company, like, I don't know, their amusement parks losing out like $1 billion a day.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So okay. John, give us our hot, sexy number 2.
God of War is going to be released in November of 2021.
You're such a simp. You're such a simp.
I debated on it being April. I wanted it to be April, but I feel like if it's
April of 2021.
Yeah.
Oh,
you think April of 2021? Dude, you are really out of your fucking mind.
These were supposed to be like crazy predictions, were they not? They weren't supposed to be like, ooh, But at the same time, like, I still think that November 2021 is still pretty slim. I mean, it's 3 years for another game the size of God of War. And granted, they're going to have a little bit of a better time being a first party studio. They've had 3 years to work on it, and they probably had inside help with the PS5 and everything else. So they could have, used a lot of previous assets to build it, would have shortened up the time a little bit. But I think that that's a fair estimate based on.
I think this is really interesting because we've talked before about Horizon and how Horizon should very easily come out before God of War. From a time frame perspective, they already talked about how they made those assets 4K when they first made them, so that way they're easily upscalable. It makes it super, like, they 4K and then downscaled for PS4. So if they went about it a similar approach, I agree, except for the fact that they just hired another narrative writer.
I know,
like Alana Pierce, we talked about this, was just hired in December.
Yes,
I think
it was like November, December in that area. Yeah.
Now hired for the studio. We don't know if Sony Santa Monica used to be split up between 2 or 3 teams. One team was comprised of XDev, which was in charge of helping indie studios make their stuff. So like Flower, Flow, and Journey all come from XDev. It came from the Santa Monica location. Theoretically, they were working on another game that was not God of War before 2018 released, and that entirely got scrapped, along with God of War 2018 being like rebuilt 4 times. So it doesn't mean that they're not a part of another team doing something else. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. All right. It's spicy. I like it.
Well,
I like it a lot.
I mean, let's look at it this way. They released in April of 2018. So it's 3 years as of April. So technically we're giving them another half year, and it did not come out buggy at all. I didn't have
No.
a bunch of bugs that had to be fixed. So I don't feel like their team was distracted. So I feel
I agree.
like April's a fair guesstimate if they come out in February and give the release date and start the marketing push. I still
So
think
you-
it's going to be in the fall.
You think God of War comes out before Horizon? This is really interesting. I like this.
Only reason is because I think Horizon's going to be a lot more. From what I've been reading, they're wanting to do a lot more with the game that they did in the first one. They're
Mhm.
wanting to introduce a lot more interactions between the exploration and moving between areas, and that means more stuff to go wrong. So
Yeah.
more testing, a lot more stuff to do.
I agree.
Like
I agree
I
entirely.
feel like that's why it's going to end up getting delayed. Is that I think that they're an ambitious team, and they did a really good job, and they
Yeah.
were really thorough. I had a good time with the game. I didn't find it too buggy, but at the same time, if you're going to do a lot more than what you did beforehand, it's going to take a little bit longer, I think.
I agree with that entirely. All right, Marcus, hit us up with your number 2 prediction.
All right. So we've been talking about the Xbox and Microsoft's direction with the Xbox and xCloud and all that stuff. I think Microsoft this year is going to double down on xCloud and release the stick.
Okay.
Is
Like
that
their
a sexual pun?
Okay.
But their xCloud streaming stick. Like realistically, there's nothing else right now that they have to go off of other than the Xbox from a gaming platform perspective in the PC, in the PC space. So, I think doubling down to give everyone else a cheap avenue. Like, I mean, if you're a PlayStation owner, for example, you have no interest in Xbox, but suddenly Xbox drops a product for $50, which gives you a controller
Mhm.
and a streaming stick. Sure, why not? It's an entire gaming platform. You pay for you pay for Game Pass, that kind of thing
Yeah.
for 1 month, or you get a free trial, for example, for 3 months of Game Pass with the stick. Why wouldn't you? You take the hit for the charge of one game for 1 month basically, and get a whole new
See how it
platform.
goes. Yeah. Okay.
I
mean,
think I don't think the hardware's all that advanced, so I think it's pretty easy for them to just drop something like this year if they really could.
Well, we've talked about it before. Like
Mhm.
they're already working real hard on xCloud being streamable on mobile. It seems that people are very excited and happy with their experience on there.
Yep.
The next direction seems to be this, so I would not be surprised, especially with Phil Spencer hinting multiple times that there's a reason why that it's called the Xbox Series, right? Series X, Series S.
Yeah.
Series TV seems right up the alley.
Yeah.
The naming scheme is still very annoying.
Yes, it's awful.
What do you call this generation? The Xbox
That's
Series,
the 270.
yeah,
the
yeah.
Xbox Series. I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, it's almost as bad as
What
last generation,
generation
where
is
it's
this?
like
Series.
the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, the Xbox One S. You're like, is this the one generation? I guess. No, not the first generation. The one generation. They're
Yeah.
very different.
No. But
I
at least the
actually-
one generation makes more sense than saying the Series generation.
Yes.
The what?
Well,
Yeah.
I was
It's a
having an
series.
entire conversation with John about Xbox One, and I thought he meant the first Xbox. So we were like missing on. I was like, what is he talking? Oh, yep. See, that's why that naming is dumb, and I'm involved in gaming
Yeah.
like on a regular
Oh,
basis.
It's I
I'm
remember
gonna
people were all
I'm gonna
betting like, "What do you think after the 360? What are they gonna call it? What are they gonna call it?" They're like, it's got to be the 270. It would be cool, right?
The 720
And
is
they were
something, whatever.
Yeah,
Or 1220 or something. And they were like, "Nope."
John's just making up more numbers.
I know.
So it sounds like it's my turn. Fine, I'll
That's
do
so
it
dumb.
myself.
Do it.
Apparently my numlock is off, and that's a problem when you're trying to type and talk at the same time. Numlock, that's what we need.
Dun, 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 dun.
So my prediction, in the same vein as Microsoft, I think that Microsoft is going to release another spin-off to Minecraft that is not a direct sequel to Minecraft or any of the current spin-offs. So we've got the Telltale Games Minecraft, which had 2 seasons.
Dungeon.
Dungeons, which just came out, which we still have content for our co-op crew on Mondays dropping.
Uh-huh.
And then they also have their AR game, Minecraft Worlds, which they just announced today is going to be closing down in summer. So that really kind of put a damper on this prediction. But I'm going bold and I'm staying with it.
You have 16 of them. You can't change course.
I can, but I'm proud of that one and I want to keep it.
Okay,
He's proud of the failure.
that's fine.
Listen, sometimes it's less about winning and more about having fun.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Wouldn't do
Sure.
this otherwise.
Yep.
All right, back to you there, Handsome John.
I'm actually going to kind of branch off kind of what Mark was saying. I think that with the introduction of Microsoft and Sony and all these other, I mean, we have Ubisoft Plus, so we've got so many possibilities with online streaming services now. I think Google Stadia dies in 2021, and I don't know why, but it was like, I want to call it the Google handshake. Good try, bud. Bye.
See, you're talking about no overlapping. This was mine. Actually, this was something I had too.
Yeah.
Mine was more that Google Stadia was going to hit the fork in the road, and it's either going to be sink or swim. And knowing Google, it's been probably
Fuck
by
off.
the time that they decide to do it, it will have been 2 years, because I imagine it would be in November or something like that.
Mhm.
That they would drop it, if anything, like of looking at it saying, "Look, it's been 2 years. We haven't turned a profit on this yet."
And they're not going to. I mean, jokingly, the best game they had run on it was Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Fuck. I wouldn't even want to advertise that. The not to mention have to be built specifically for Stadia. That's just makes no sense. There's so many easier ways to go about this. Google shot themselves in the foot with that.
Well,
Granted, they were working on that architecture probably many, many years ago, so they were trying to, keep everything on their language so they could, move forward and say, this is how we're going to fix it. We're not going to have to worry about AWS or anything else that could be potentially a lot more easy to work with.
Well, see, so I look at Google's entry with Cyberpunk as probably the biggest success they could have had for the upcoming year, in the sense that they're going to go to every other game developer now and look at and say, Cyberpunk was a flop. Look how great it did on our platform. It sucked on PC. It was riddled with bugs on PC. It sucked on console, but our platform was great. Why don't you come over here?
It wasn't great. It was the best.
But I still see it shutting down.
No, I love this idea of the ship is sinking, and the fisherman, like the captain, fishes out a big fish. He's like, "Look what I caught with this rod. Don't you want to come on this ship? Don't you want to join us? Don't you want to be right here?"
That's such a great analogy, because that is exactly what it is. Studios. I think Stadia is going to die, and unfortunately, I would agree with you. I was actually thinking that. In my mind, I was thinking about Cyberpunk.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought that was maybe going to be a turning point for Stadia, and I don't think it's going to be. I think it's just going to continue to sink. I think this is just a slight little, and then it's boom.
Yeah,
done.
Agreed. All right, Mark. Well, he took Donald Duck's farting.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
Mark, he took yours, so now you have to come up with another one.
Go ahead. Try to take one of my motherfuckers.
I had 6, so it's fine. I got a little bit. I've had all my padding now, so. And I already know the comments that are going to follow this, almost literally immediately as soon as I say this. But Apple Silicon M2 chip is going to kick ass. It's going to have to. The predictions are
M1 is already impressive.
The predictions are 32 cores, and if the efficiency of the chip and the battery and the lifespan of the battery, or the battery life anyway, is any indication from the M1, the M2 is just going to be just as big a success as the M1 is right now. So, except it's going to be on it's going to be on the high end consumer and the workstation level. Which is where, most of the money's really made for them there.
Yeah. I mean, they like their high-priced items, don't they?
They do. And it's
just out of curiosity,
$1
trillion company.
How are we going to measure this? Just because we have to make sure you get a point, right? So what is kick ass? What's the metric here? Or like a general metric? I don't think we need anything like specific.
I would say just widely renowned as a success.
That's fine.
Mean, if people are saying in general in any industries, or most of the industries is obviously, you can tell the difference between a flop and a not a flop,
right?
And a success.
There are very few review videos you'll find now that say that the M1 chip is bad. If you search for Apple M1 on YouTube, for example, most of the tech reviews come back and say it's awesome. So I would say that would be a decent metric, is to do a general understanding to say that it's kick
So
Yeah.
is Kick-Ass like really well, like good? Like I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm genuinely trying to determine like there's a
He's-
difference because there's a difference in my
What
head
do you want
between
it
like
to be? Do you want it to be
su-
cast? Do you want it to be good? Do you want it
Yeah,
to be
yeah, exactly.
accepted?
I would say
And
it
do you
would.
want it to be
It will
bad?
be. It will be great. It will be like
One step below
Apple
Kick-Ass.
Okay.
Apple generation game changing, like to the level of
So we're saying 9s across the board then.
yes.
Okay, there we go. That's a metric we
What do
can.
you
Look
want? You got a number, mother. Happy?
I don't need a number. I'm
Yeah,
just
you
trying to
did.
make, like.
Oh my
when you
gosh, I've
say-
gotta
when you say
quantify
asshole,
this
like,
and-
Skip
Me in the
kicks
butt, or,
ass.
like,
Like,
what
what
is-
does that even mean? It
Can
kicks
this
ass.
jerk me off at night while I'm
Like,
sleeping? Or-
If it hits
Well,
an
what-
8.25,
where's
is that
John's-
wrong?
Is it
Like,
that
everyone's-
amazing?
We're
Or
all
is it
going
like
off about
amazing, where I get
Okay.
blowjobs at night?
Okay, so now it's on to my prediction. That'd be great if it actually gave you.
Right? That's
blowjob.
what I'm saying. God,
Now,
gotta
is
go
it like a
level.
really binary blowjob? I don't even know what that means.
Down, up.
All I can think of is chicken.
Up, down,
down, Overclock it.
Oh, Overwatch me. Sorry, I gotta put this timestamp. Have you not seen this?
No.
Oh man, there's a great clip of I think it was Game Awards. It was some event where it had DJ Khaled and he was like out there performing kind of for Overwatch, but not really. And in the middle of his performance, he's like, Overwatch me, and then just like starts dancing. It's the dumbest thing.
He says
What?
like the same thing in every song, just randomly throughout the beat. I don't
Oh,
understand how.
I love it. I love it. He also doesn't
DJ
eat pussy, which I
Khaled.
think it's crazy.
Why do you not eat pussy?
He says
If
he
you're not-
refuses. He just
Females,
straight
you should
refuses.
always want to reciprocate.
That's what I say too. Always reciprocate, boys and girls. Alrighty, moving on to my third prediction. This one's multi-layered, but pretty easy to measure, I would say. So Square Enix is going to release a very poor Final Fantasy remaster of the older games. So this is Final Fantasy 1 through 6. Doesn't have to include all of them, but it'll include only games 1 through 6.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
What?
I feel like that's easy. But go ahead.
They haven't done it yet. This collection will release on PlayStation 4, 5.
Mhm.
Like that's the metric right there. Like it's got to release on a Sony console. I'll even just put it on Sony. None of the others matter. It may not include all of them. It'll have barely any enhancements, and Brent will eat it up because he's going to get the Platy Plat on it.
God, Jesus. I hope they put 6 games on one disc.
I would fucking love that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I can
and
play
you only
through-
get 1 platinum for all 6 games.
That's fine. I'll play all 6 games. Get my
Okay.
Platy Plat.
Platy
I'm
Plat.
not
For you to waste
greedy.
200 hours of time makes me catch up.
Not 200 hours. 6 games.
At 40 hours a piece, that's
They're about 30 hours.
Yeah.
And some of those
300
I can
hours.
get through real quick.
Yeah, if you use the cheat
it's
mod where you're like
60.
running around at 100% and just $9.99 everything.
Yeah. How do you think I
Yeah.
got the Platy Plat?
Exactly.
do
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
I helped you. Very small, but still help.
Yes. Help nonetheless. Your turn there, John. Well, prediction number 4.
All right, you guys about to have your mind blown. Call of Duty is going to release another game in the fall.
Shut the fuck up. and
That's
get
that
out of
is such a
here.
cheap
I will
shot.
not allow bull predictions like that on this show. I
I-
refuse.
That was I put that on there as a joke. That was my upcoming. I love that one. All right, I don't know which one I want to do last. All right, I'll do. Ooh.
What's that last? We got one more round.
Yeah,
right?
I'll do that. I'll do that one last.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell game announced this year.
Oh, nice. I had that on mine too. Look at
Oh,
that.
really?
I did, yes.
Shit, man, I could have.
Mine went a little bit more in depth, but I like that.
I based on all the hype we've been seeing and a lot of like
Integration.
yeah, integration in other games. I feel like
Mhm.
it's coming. I feel like this is that was the toe in the water to see how are people feeling about this, and everybody lost their
Mhm.
and everybody loves it. And they keep asking for it over and over and over again. I think they're gonna, they are gonna.
Yeah.
They have been working on it now.
I agree.
I would
Could be
sad to
dumb
see
otherwise.
it. Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's a waste not to. But
Also, I mean, I think Ubisoft has started to pump the brakes a bit on releasing franchises annually. Like they're really trying to take time. The last Far Cry we got was what, 2019, because it's when you and Brian
That
played
was
through
New
the
Dawn.
entirety of it. Yeah. So the Far Cry 6 comes out next year.
Mhm.
The last Assassin's Creed was Odyssey, which was 2 years before this year. So I don't think we're getting Assassin's Creed next
Valhalla.
year. Yeah, Valhalla just came out this past year.
Well,
So
hell,
like 2018 was when Odyssey came out. I think
And
they're
Division.
really
They have
exactly.
what, 3 or 4 development teams?
They have more than that. They have 21
I'm sorry, studios.
Yeah.
Studios.
Yeah, they have 21 like studios across the board. Now, not all of them develop major games. A lot of them are ancillary studios that help.
I'm talking about the studios that usually make the big games. There's like the big 4, right?
There's more than 4. There's like 4 that are renowned. Yeah, but they have a lot that just make games because Ubisoft constantly releases small games. Like you and I played Uno and those Hasbro collection games. Like there's a studio devoted to that.
I know it's not going to happen, but I want to see another Rayman.
Oh, I mean, I actually think this would be the year to do it.
I agree. I was actually going to be one of my backups.
And Rayman worked really well on last generation, so I wouldn't be surprised. But very cool, very cool.
Oh, and forget Division. Yeah.
My prediction was that it would be announced for this year and then be delayed till 2022. All right, Mark.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
No, yeah. Can't take it.
I'm not going to.
Good.
I think it's just going to be announced.
I know. You got yourself an easy one. I like it.
Oh, fuck off. That's still a long shot. That like no other rumors other than what we've seen. Like, how is that?
I love how we just talked about how it makes sense, and you're like, it's still a long shot.
It is still a long shot. Like, there's no other evidence to get other than our gut and what we kind of see. Like, it's a long shot.
All right, Mark, what you got?
Pooped on my parade. Fuck off.
All right. Well, so the next one for me, just with sort of the anticipation of, COVID finally grinding to a halt, I would hope for anyway, with, release of vaccines and the anticipation of the world reopening here sometime before the summer. So, but I think that like COVID's really shown from a workplace perspective, primarily in like tech, video game development, and as it being one of the industries definitely hit by this, is that work from home schedules are very effective, or work from anywhere schedules. So I actually see companies. I would say if you want to get quantifiable, Brent, I would say we could see a good number of companies closing physical studio or closing physical offices. Not all of them, just like closing some of their extraneous physical offices or closing down maybe some of their small out hubs, and extending a permanent or frequent work from home / work from anywhere policy. I think that
sounds good.
That sounds pretty reasonable, considering that a lot of companies have really been toying with this idea for a while anyway, and COVID just sort of forced their hand, and now they've actually seen the benefits of it. So to me, it makes sense that this would be the next
Here's
step.
the thing. I've talked to some business peoples that own big businesses like Abbott Exchange.
Clearly.
And they have said that even though that this has worked out really well, they still want to bring people back in.
I think it depends on it depends on the company. Bank of America, the people I know from Bank of America and Wells Fargo both have been told that like they're actually looking to close a physical office and are going to extend work from home policies to be a like several day a week thing. Plus,
Bank of America, some of the locations they have in Charlotte, I don't blame them because they're old. I mean, they still have stuff. I'm not kidding. They have like 1980s tube TVs still hanging in the ceiling. I'm like, what is this here for still?
No one's been asked enough to take it down.
Pretty much. It doesn't bother somebody enough.
But just seeing like some of the people around me and the way that like in the tech space, that this has sort of evolved, and the fact that we've actually seen it expand into like the video game development space as well, I think this is going to be a continuation trend.
Okay. I feel like it's going to bounce back a little bit and people are going to be mad. I think people that have been working from home are going to fight vehemently to keep it, because why wouldn't you? It's easier on your life. It makes sense for the company, but you're going to have those companies that are going to do it anyway, and people are going to be pissed. But
yeah, God knows I would not want to go back after this. Yeah. Like not permanently. I completely understand like having office days or like a situation in which, hey, we're having like a big important meeting, come in, meeting clients, whatever the case may be. But I would like to spend a majority of my time at my home.
Yeah. I mean, like our office days at my current job anyway is like we don't really have a dress code. If dress for your day is basically the idea. But I don't generally go into the office unless I have to dress up for a meeting or something anyway. So
yeah.
Like I'm not in there because I want to be in there. I'm in there because I have to be in there for a meeting or something like that.
You're walking in your PJs and be like, I dressed for the day, man.
I could. I could.
This is my day. Alrighty. My number 4 prediction for the year 2020 will be that Nintendo is going to take away the Super Mario 3D collection at the end of March, which they have already said they will do. However, they're also going to break apart each game and sell them individually for $30 on the eShop.
You're a piece of crap. That is an easy one. We've talked about why this is going to make sense.
Yeah,
it's
but
not even close to a
it's
long
just
shot. That's
like,
what's happening.
it's only our own gut and, our rumors.
You're cheating. That's all I'm saying. Is you're trying for the easy win, and it's.
I love how all my other ones are very convoluted, and that one is like.
It's not convoluted. No, that one's not at all.
I don't get the full
half
point.
Of your predictions already right.
How is it right?
Because they said they're going to take it out in March.
Yeah, that doesn't count. The prediction really is they'll break it apart. So they got to break it apart, and then they got to be $30 a piece. So I get half a point if they break it apart. I get the other half if they sell them for.
All right, as long as you break it up, I'm fine with that.
And if it doesn't do anything, you get nothing anyway. So
that's literally how all of ours are working. By the way, like everyone gets their convoluted point system, and you get the argument at the end of the year to see if it works or not. That's how
well, I do have a 2-parter about the release date and then delayed with Horizon.
Yeah. So it all works. All right, for our final predictions, drum roll, please. I don't know if you can hear this or not. Okay,
you can't hear it on mine.
PlayStation by Sega.
What?
I say PlayStation by Sega.
There we go. Sony by Sega. I like it.
Okay.
I
think that it is a real possibility. They are an RPG machine. They like that class, and I feel like, well, not just RPG machine, they're platformers and everything else too, but they I feel like that would be a good addition into the Sony platform for the type of games that they like to play or that they do create. I feel like it's more of a fit than Microsoft's, though I feel like Microsoft would want to. And that would also kind of diversify a little bit more of Microsoft's Game Pass ability to attract other people. And I think PlayStation would do this just to shut it down. Just shut it down.
We've also talked before about how Japanese companies have a very big sense of national pride, wanting to make sure they stay within their own country. It does make a lot of sense to me. So, yeah. Sure. I'd say it's as easy as my other bet, but that's fine.
That's as easy as your other bet.
Mark, I think it's
close.
Oh, shit. It's Mark's time to shine.
Oh man.
Boy.
Mine's not anywhere near as drum rolly here.
Okay.
We'll do it anyway.
But I think that this kind of has been the trend for a little while now with smartphones. And I think that this is probably going to be a continuation, but probably to a worse extent this coming year because there really hasn't been a whole lot of technological advancement. I think that smartphones next year are literally going to be the same thing as smartphones this year. Just that little tiny bit.
Yeah.
And they're going to be about 200. I would say they're probably going to be each about $100 more this year than they were last year.
Here's the iPhone 13. It's got an extra half megapixel better camera.
Right.
Exactly. Another $1,200.
The operating system's going to look the same. The phone's going to look exactly the same. The Note series is going to be exactly the same thing that it was. The only technological advancement that's probably going to come underway here that I'll leave as an exception here is that the underscreen camera is probably going to come about just because we've already seen the beginnings of that. Foldable screens have already been determined that they're great for usability, but terrible in a functional sense so far.
Yeah.
I mean, like there really isn't going to be a tremendous amount in the way of improvements with that. Hinges are awful. They really are.
Fix it.
I loved it when
like in-screen fingerprints and face detection were the two biggest things that definitely came out like over the last 5 years, but we haven't really gone any farther than that.
I'm really excited to nitpick Mark's fucking predictions at the end of this
year. Poor boy.
Okay.
I mean, I guarantee. I honestly think Mark's going to get the point on that. He's right. It's going to be incrementally, just barely better every single time, just like it has been for a long time. Especially, mainly with iPhones. I do feel like Android has made better strides in certain circumstances. I mean, even iPhone had to catch up to dark mode, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like they do have to catch up a little bit more when it comes to some things, but when it comes to processing and raw power, I don't know. Until I see an M1 chip inside of an iPhone, I'm not impressed.
There you go. There you
There
go,
you go.
folks. Won't be impressed until then. My final prediction, and I think this is interesting. I didn't put a single Sony related prediction on here. I had a few, but they were very easy. I believe Nintendo will release another 2D Zelda remake. It'll be announced and released in the year 2021. And it's either going to be Oracle of Seasons, the Game Boy Color game, Oracle of Ages, the Game Boy Color game, or both of them combined.
I would bet both of them. If they did one, they're going to do the other.
I would bet they're going to do both of them, and they're going to sell them separately. But I'm going to leave myself a little bit of wiggle room there.
Absolutely,
a little bit of wiggle room there. So,
hey, you buy this one, not buy this one. That's how that's going to work.
Those, I believe, are finalizing our predictions. However, we have not put on the table what we're actually betting here. So, starting with you, John, what are you going to force us to take on if you win?
Mark, I'm gonna force you to platinum.
Same thing. We have to do the same thing.
You've already done this. I was gonna make them platinum Persona 4 Golden.
You mean I have to buy a PlayStation 4 or 5?
No, you'd have to buy a Vita, which is like completely ridiculous.
No, he would just do it on my
Hey guys, I'm borrowing a Vita.
And also the platinum's like
200 hours.
It's actually like 130 if you do it properly. I did it
would be
improperly.
a punishment for you.
It would be a punishment, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's okay. Mine's
Mark,
a punishment, but mine's not a long punishment.
Oh fuck! Honestly, I don't have a punishment. I don't even want it to be a punishment.
It doesn't want to be a punishment.
Fine. You know what? How about this? If I get the most, we're all going out to eat at Firebirds, and you guys are covering my tab.
Yeah. That's not like the thing. Like the whole point is
you're trying to consuming
share.
content.
Yeah, we're trying to share something you enjoy.
You could watch me eat a fucking $30 steak.
That's not at all. Sharing, we're enjoying.
It's interesting content.
So do you want
the concept is that there's something
talked about this beforehand because now I feel weird.
There's something that you should really like that neither one of us have consumed, right? Or partake.
But the thing is, me and you do that all the time. We literally talk to each other and to like go back and forth and shit. Like,
there's still plenty of things that I know you have not consumed that I like.
Yeah, and if you make me play a mother Final Fantasy game, I'm gonna ruin you, motherfucker. I swear to God, you're a piece of shit. I don't have the constitution for that game. Oh man, you go first. How about that? And then we'll talk about mine.
So my question is, book or game? It's one for both of you. So it's either book for both of you or game for both of you. Book you have to finish, game you don't. That's the key.
That's weird.
Book is short enough that you can finish it without any issues. Game, I'm not going to force you.
So Mark,
you have to make.
Oh, what the hell?
Well, the reason I'm saying is this game on a console that we all own.
We'd make it work.
Okay.
I'd be doing some borrowing.
Or Game Pass.
I say game.
Or that. Okay.
I say game.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, game works.
Man, I really thought you guys were gonna go book because it's like easier and better.
I debated on it. To be honest.
Yeah. It depends on the book, really.
It would have been a comic book. I didn't want to disclose it. I am going to say that you have to play Final Fantasy 15. Not the entire game, but you got to play 20 hours worth of the game.
20 hours, okay.
It's available on Game Pass. And John, you have it through the PlayStation Plus collection. So I tried to pick something that both of you had. You chose. I gave you the option.
I didn't think you'd actually do it to me, though. You so.
It's the most modern rendition of the franchise.
I know. Okay. Mark,
what's your poison?
Okay. Okay. So actually, I'll go for a split here. One of two different paths. And we'd have to make the other one work probably with like a later launch or something, but Game or movie?
Movie.
Game would obviously be astronomically longer than the movie, but
well, you pick a reasonable time frame within the game. I'm willing to play game. I don't really care.
I would say 20. I'd say 25 hours would probably be enough to get you started and get an idea.
Why are you guys?
It's gonna be Rocket League. It's gonna be fucking Rocket League.
You motherfucker. He's like, I need friends to play Rocket League with.
You know, I said movie. I'll go game because we talk about games all the time, and Mark, you have a very peculiar taste in games, so I'll go game.
I agree with that. I call game.
All right. I want you guys to put 25 hours into Microsoft Flight Simulator and understand.
I fucking knew that was coming.
All right, cool. I'm actually completely down with that.
So you guys aren't into the whole simulator world quite like I am, and I understand. Like I'm big into the aviation world, but you know, learning about the aviation world is part of it. You know, is a big piece of that. So
yeah,
I think if you guys learn a little bit more, you might appreciate it a little bit more than than you do now.
I used to actually play with simulators back in the day when my dad was in flight school. I would play with the simulator while they were actually flying.
And then John
I would do
had
like corkscrews with 777s, and I was like, "Well, this is not realistic."
John lost his virginity and said, "This is nothing like the simulators."
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
All right,
actually
John.
get pregnant.
They actually get pregnant, indeed. What is yours? What is our poison, John?
All right. I want to do. I wanted to do a multiplayer game, but I feel like all the ones that I want to play, we've already played before, and it's not going to be anything new. So let's do something. I'm so just flabbergasted. But I love all yours, and I hate mine.
Here's what I'll say. You could put something on the show today, and then next week, but only next week's episode, you have the opportunity to change it.
That's fine. All right, fine. Do you guys want it has to be either a game or a book, I guess, right?
A game, book, movie. It could be music. Literally, like media is why I chose, right? Like
all right,
something.
Cool. I'll give you guys the choice. Game or movie.
And it's something that I can't have experience nor Mark.
Okay.
Okay.
So obviously it can't be Send a Doge to New York.
Yep, I saw that coming. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go game only because it's a nice symmetry. Everyone's already picked game. I'm gonna game.
Why not?
Okay. I want you guys to play Far Cry 5.
Okay.
Co-op. Because it was
okay.
Yeah. You can actually play the entire campaign co-op.
That sounds like a co-op crew or co-op crew. That sounds like a game night episode coming up.
It could be. The
reason I picked this game is because Brent's forced me to play Final Fantasy, and I've never played it, and that's why he's chose it. But at the same time, like he's never really got into a Far Cry, as far as I know. He watched me play a good bit of 4.
Never played 1.
No. So in 5, I had a lot of fun platinuming with Brian and New Dawn. Why I'm excited for 6. I destroyed 4. So much time just exploring on 4.
But, are you dictating we play the whole game?
No, you do not. I'm going to put the same. I mean, honestly, after 20-25 hours, you played most of the game anyway. You could do it in 3 sessions and probably kill that game.
I would
it's
argue
a big game, but I mean,
if we have to do it co-op, like 20 to 25 hours is a lot of time for that. But I mean, I'm down. We just have to do multiple sessions with it.
What this is not. When I say co-op, I mean not local. You could play co-op
online. Yeah,
online.
It still means dictating time, but yeah, we can figure it out. Yeah. We can figure it out. So I'm putting the 20 to 25 hour mark on all of ours simply because it makes it symmetrical.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Look at that. Cool.
You know what the movie was going to be?
What was the movie?
Cats.
I've already seen it.
I should.
Oh, you have?
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Of course he has. Come on.
How was it?
Look,
I heard it was awful.
The end. The CG is very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Isn't it always?
It's the first their balls out or something.
It's the first movie in history that had an update.
Yeah, because it had
a patch.
Buttholes.
Yeah,
and they had to patch it. like a cat named Patch. Anyways, that is our predictions for 2021. Please feel free to leave us your own predictions in the comment section, floating like a cat's butthole right in front of Mark's hottie toddy. But now I think it's time for last call. Let's go. Wow, somebody really
Yeah.
peeked out. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Of course, we're in our quarantine bunkers because 2021 came around, and guess what? The virus didn't leave. So here we are in our separate spots. However, I do actually have quite a bit to talk about here in our shoutouts. Of course, we do have our Discord, which you can chime in. Some of us are starting some D&D one-shots that'll lead into a campaign if you have any interest. Of course, we do have other people joining in on various games and also just having various discussion like building PC or any other technical jargon. For our weekly reading, I found a wonderful article from GammaSutra.com, which is what makes a good game publishing contract. We've talked about this before. We've talked about the issues with it. Here's one game contract from a production company that actually breaks down everything. Very nice. So definitely worth looking into. It's an analysis of said contract, and it gives you a little bit more insight on how game publishing deals work. For the weekly deals, the Prime free games of January have been announced, as well as the PS Plus and Xbox games with gold. We have links in our Google Doc, which is in the description, so feel free to hop in and grab that stuff. All I know is that PS Plus includes Maneater on PS5, and I am so excited.
I am too, actually.
For some cool ass shit this week. Oh, also Jurassic Park World Evolution's free on Epic Game Store, but only for this week, so hurry up quick. Cool ass shit. Nier Automata's final secret has been found, and it lets you skip the entire game. Apparently there is a code that can be entered. No, it skips to the ending of the game.
Yeah.
So you skip from the beginning to the ending.
Oh, I thought it was the first of the last boss fights.
No, you skip all the way to the end, yeah.
Oh,
so,
that's crazy.
So it's a debug code. You can enter it in and check it out. And Yotaro-san, who is the director of the game, has confirmed this is the last secret of the game that was teased 3 years ago. Also, a 22-year-old unfinished PlayStation 1 game has recently been finished and released. The game is called Magic Kingdom? Magic Castle? It's probably Magic Castle. It is indeed Magic Castle. One of the developers found the game on his hardware, which is actually a Linux-based suite that was used for developing games in the PlayStation 1. Sony actually backed this for PlayStation 1 and 2 and stopped it halfway through the PS3's life cycle, but it was a Linux-based system that would allow you to create homebrew games and then publish them on PlayStation 1. You can work with Sony to actually get discs and stuff. The series, it was called, what's it called? I literally just clicked on this thing and didn't even read it. Net Yaroza. The games are significantly smaller, but it was only $750 for a dev kit that allowed you to develop for the PlayStation 1. So they started on this pitch, Sony approved the pitch, and then decided that they wanted the developer to work on something else. The developers backed out, and the game never released. And so one of the developers found it on his dev kit, finished it, and you can download it now for free. So thought that was really cool. I learned a lot of history on PlayStation homebrew in that. Now, finally, for a question of the week, of course, it is the beginning of a new year. So, boys, how was your New Year's? Do you have any sort of resolutions for 2021?
Not to be as fat.
That's a good resolution. How was your New Year's?
It was good. It was actually, I hung out with some people that were kind of wonky, but I got to watch most of the other guys, so I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about that too. I don't really have resolutions. I stopped making resolutions a while ago, mostly because I feel like disappointing, but I feel like you set yourself up to fail. It reminds me a little bit of one of the things I used to do, which is like the dry January or whatever it was. And then I talked to a good friend of ours, Fitz, and he brought up the point of like, if you realize that if you skip a day a week drinking throughout the year, you get 52 days off of drinking rather than only 31. And it's much easier because you're not depriving yourself of this vice for an entire 31 days. So I stopped really doing resolutions after that, because that was typically what I was aiming for, was to like drink less or something along those lines. But, this year I do want to get bigger into game development. That is something I've already made strides for and will continue to do so. So
nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Marky Mark.
So let's see. My New Year's was actually pretty quiet. It was literally just the girlfriend and I hanging out at the house. I was doing some work on this project of mine, and until probably about 2 hours before the ball dropped. Then came downstairs. We popped some champagne, and we had a charcuterie board. We opened up CNN to watch. What were their? Who was it? What are their names? Andy
Cooper?
Cohen.
Oh, Cohen.
And who's the main reporter?
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson
isn't it?
Cooper. Yeah.
Troy Baker.
No,
Troy Baker.
Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen hammered on live television
That's amazing.
talking about going back to smoke weed.
That's amazing. I do like that a lot.
That was their conversation on national television, hammered after tequila shots, which was great. It was great entertainment for the 2 hours leading up and great entertainment for the hour afterwards. Oh, no, wait. We didn't start that 2 hours before. Actually, we finished up The Witcher.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's a game I've actually been looking at starting, Witcher 3. Oh, you started The Witcher, the series.
Yeah. We finished the Witcher series, though.
Yeah.
No, it was
Tough to find your Witcher, huh?
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, Valley of Plenty.
I don't remember the song. I haven't listened to it enough, apparently.
All I
Dude,
know
I
is just
listen to that song on Alexa. Just ask her. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, but
Just-
Brent,
just ask Henry Cavill.
I'm in line with you. I don't really do resolutions like that. In the coming years, mostly I just think of like I do a little bit of like internal recap and then internal like projection, basically, of like what I want to be or where I want to be. What I want to do for the coming year. The big thing right now, and part of the reason that like Kepley is supposed to be editing this podcast as well is we have a really big project with a lot of big potential underway right now that some of us are trying to work through. So that has a lot of potential, and I want to see that through to the end. And it seems like it's the end could be a long time from now too, which is great to hear. Which is great to see that we're really filling a need in a marketplace or in a space that means a lot to us. In esports in particular, but it means a lot to us. So I'm really happy to see that I can build something that becomes useful there.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. Good for you.
Absolutely agreed. Congratulations. Hopefully it carries on. I know you're working very hard. We can see the bags in your eyes. The camera's not helping.
Can I tell you guys what my business idea was?
What's your business idea before we go?
Oh no.
The one with when you play a game, it's the
yes, we heard this already. Time to go. Yeah, thank you so much. That is our show for this week. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers.